Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this amazing pop-up cake card. It's really cool. It's got a candle in it. It's not a new concept, but the way I've done it, I've just designed it with my measurements and my way, so that I've got equal slices of cake and things like that. Now this is a little serviette which I'll show you how to make at the end, and what I've done is just popped a card inside of it so you can write a message in there, and also it would be great to fit like a little gift card. So if you haven't got any idea what you're buying someone for their birthday, then a gift card's always a good shout. So I'm going to show you how to do everything from scratch. There's no dies or anything involved, but I have got a template which is free on my Ko-fi shop for you to use, to save you doing all the measuring and things like that. Now if you haven't got a printer, like I say, I'm going to be showing you how to do it from scratch without. You can print this way, and then once you've made it and cut it all out, you can use the reverse of it, so you won't see any of the lines or anything like that. Now this is designed so that it fits on 8.5 by 11, which is a US size, or A4, so it doesn't matter which. There'll be no measuring with this because you'll just literally cut it out, score it and make it. And you can also just cut it out once and then draw around it and things like that, so you don't have to keep printing it if you don't want to. So what you'll see here is on the 8.5 by 11, the lines don't finish at the top there or at the bottom. Now it doesn't matter, because once they've gone off, they're just tab lines, and just finish them to the end. This straight line you finish to the end, this tab line to the end. With the A4 one, it's just at the top there and at the bottom. Now I designed it on a size 8.25 by 11, so it fits both, you see. That's why they're hanging off a little bit. If you use borderless printing, that won't happen. So that's all you need for that. It's free. I'll put it in the description, so you can just go and download that for free. Now let's get started and make this card. So like I say, I'm not using the template. Template's there. I can refer to it and show you what we've made if you like as we go along, but you don't have to have it. So these are going to be my little cake slices in a minute. That's just frosting. This is the top. These are the candles. I've got two. I only need one. And this is the serviette, which I'll do later, which is not on the template. And all you need is a piece of card that's 11 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. Why have I gone mad? So all you need to do is just mark 1/4 inch and go all the way down the long side at 1/4 inch. That's all you need to do for that. Then you're going to come over, put your 11 inch there, and then you're just going to score it at 4, at 8, and 9.25, and 10.5, like that. So that's 4, 8, 9.25, 10.5. So that's nice and easy, isn't it? So we just put that to one side. So I'll do all the scores first. So then we need 3 pieces of cake. These are 7.5 by 1/2 inch. So we're going to score those at 3 3/4, halfway. Again, this one 3 3/4, and this one 3 3/4, like that. So this is all the scoring I'm getting done now. Then we'll move on to our little candle. Now our candle is 3/4 by 2. Okay, so it's 3/4 by 2. So it's 3/8 halfway. You can just fold it in half if you don't have an 1/8 inch board, and then turn it around and just score 3/8 at the bottom, like that. So I'm just doing all scores so I can get the scoreboard out of the way. Then what we need to do is get a piece of card that's 3, this is for the top, by 4.25, and then we're going to score that one all the way down the middle at 1.5, like that. And then we're just going to mark 1/4 inch in, so that's 2 3/4 on both sides, there and there. And then we're just going to do a pencil mark. Where's my pencil gone? There it is, at 1/4 inch in from these sides here, just 1/4 inch. So all you've got is yours, and I'll show you on the template in a minute what we've done. So we've just done 1/4 inch in, 1/4 inch in, down the middle all the way, and marked 1/4 and 1/4 from there. Okay, and I don't know why I did that, because that's a complete lie. It's 1/4 inch from the, ignore that. It's 1/4 inch here. I don't know why I did that. It's because I did it up there. 1/4 inch there. It won't be very cake shape, will it? Just be a rectangle. So 1/4 inch from the score line out. As you know, I leave my mistakes in because it makes the day go by. So we just need a pencil mark there. So all we're going to do, we're going to move the scoreboard now. I believe I've finished with it, but I'll need it for the serviette. You know what I'm like. I think I've done with it, and then I'll always bring it back out again. So we just get a ruler for this one, and you're going to, this very top corner here, so this very top corner, you're going to make a line to that 1/4 inch mark we made in the right place, if you know what I mean. There it is, like that. It's just done a line down there, so now you can see why I marked it, and I needed it to be that triangular shape, not anything else. And then again from that 1/4 inch to the outside, like so. I did need the scoreboard, I told you I would need it. There we go, those are cut lines. And then what we do is we do score lines, and I'm not going to finish this cake piece, I'm going to go back to the base, but I just wanted to do all the score lines. So this one, where that 1/4 inch in is, just get it into the groove. Get into the groove, eh? Bit early for that, it's early. Go to the centre, point down there. And then the same on this side, so get that centre point, get your 1/4 inch, and now you've got that. So you've got all your score lines and your lines in on the cake top. So we'll get rid of this for a minute, probably bring it back in, and then we'll go back to our cake base, because we need to add our strips of cake and things like that and cut all this up. So all you're going to do is reinforce those score lines. They all go the same way. Make sure that the top and the bottom of the cake are level, and then just reinforce the score like that, and then do it again like that. Make sure it's level like that. We've got the tab on the end, which is going to come in, and we have got to do a couple of cuts in a minute. And then this one, the centre of that smaller piece there folds the other way, so you're just going to come back like that, like that. Now I think what we'll do next is the cutting. Now there's one measure to do on this. Obviously if you're using the template you won't be doing any measuring, so all you need to do is measure an inch out, only on one side as well. So let's just do an inch there, and just mark the bottom. I'll do it on the other side as well in case it turns out I need it. So all I've done is marked an inch from this first end where it's got the two long 4-inch pieces. I've just done an inch from that score line there and there. And then we're going to do our cuts. So all we need to do are make tabs. So this little, from this section here where you've got 3 little pieces, you're just going to take all of that off. So let's just do that first. Let's just go along and take all of this off. So just going to cut along that 1/4 inch score line we made first, and cut all along there. Take that off like so. Then we're just going to angle the tabs a little bit. Doesn't need to be a lot, and it doesn't have to be a specific size. It doesn't matter if they're out, top and bottom, things like that. Now fold your card in half, and where we did that inch, so we've got our 2 4-inch pieces together, where we did that little inch mark up to that score line there, the 1/4 inch in, you're just going to make one cut all the way along there like that. And all that does is when these fold down, because they will in a minute, I'll finish doing it and then I'll talk about it, and then we'll cut that one off there and that one off there. So what we've got is exactly the same as the template. If I bring the template back in, what have I done with it? There it is. And lay that over, you can see that we've just made that. And that's obviously going a bit bigger because I've got it all the way to the end. But that is what that is. So we've done score lines all along there like that. We did our 1/4 inch, then we did 4, 8, 9 1/4, 10 1/2 along there. So that's all we've done basically, same as the template, without the template. And then you just fold these two up, and these two pieces here are what holds the whole of the cake in the card. Now you can see why we made that cut, because you need it not to clash, because these need to be flat on the inside of the card. They're doing all the work of the mechanism, these two pieces, so you definitely need to look after them. And then what I'm going to do is, you see I folded them down, and I'm going to fold that back, and that gives me clear view of my cake. Now make sure that the bottom pieces folded in are at the bottom. So this is how the cake would be. Now you can now use like inks and sponge it and make it like a sponge if you want to, or if this is stripy paper and you're not doing anything else, that's also fine. But what I've done with these strips, I'm just going to fold them in half. I've scored them, and these are like where the cake would be. So once I put these on, what you're going to get, oops, if I can open it, is that goes on the score line, and then you can see this is going to be like your frosting, because the next one will go there and the next one up a bit. So that's like your frosting. This is actually the cake, so these are the frostings on the edge and icing and things like that. But if you've got full stripe, though, it doesn't have to be exactly like a cake. It's craft, it's art. You can have, you know, spots if you want, it doesn't matter. Rainbow would be really cool, wouldn't it? So we've got our 3 bits of cake. Sorry if you're all getting hungry. Just fold this last one. I have designed it so it's exactly a 1/4 inch between. So if you want them to be exactly right, they'll do that. Now the only thing you need to remember is the top of our cake, the overhang, is going to be a 1/4 inch in pink on this one. So you don't need, I'm not going to be doing like jam on here, but you can just add peel-offs, you can do paint, you can do like, this is why I brought this little pink in, cut it down to the same size as the cake, and you can do like little squiggly bits of there's jam between the layers of sponge. So you could just wiggle all the way along the whole length, don't make it small, just wiggle your scissors all the way along like that. And then what you can do is pop that one on, and then pop this on top, so you've got like a layer of the jam, if you like, between the cake, and then that one will go there and that one will go there. So you can see where we're going with this, so it's quite cool. Should I do 2? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. You have to just watch me cut out a wiggle, because I wasn't planning on doing this, but we've done it. So because the top's pink, we might as well leave it as it is. So we've got our little jam layers in between there. Now there's not going to be a jam layer on the top one, probably, unless I squash them down, and then we have 3 there. So what we're going to do is put the bottom one on the bottom. And the reason I'm doing all this first is because you want this to really dry before you start folding it, etc. Now this is thick card, the base is carved, so it's going to be quite a thickness. Now you can use paper for this, obviously. Now normally, you know, I smear it all down, but just for speed, I'm just going to pop these on. And you have to have that score line over the score line. That's the only really important thing. And then at the bottom, like that. And bear in mind, you're going to have that 1/4 inch edge over here. If you want to show 3 layers of this frosting or jam layer, then you'll want to definitely be making that. I think I'll put the glue, I could put it over the top of the cake, but it would be a bit thick. So I'm just going to run a bit of glue alongside that, and then we'll know where the next one can go. Just run glue along there. It's probably better that I showed you this, to be fair, because you may have gone, what's she on about? But you can see this would be great for using peel-offs. So if you get your little peel-offs, or even dies, if you like your dies. Didn't pour that to the end, did I? If I haven't put it down, it might have dried already. Come here. Should we just leave it so I don't have a disaster? Chop that bit off. Jams. It's okay for the jam to hang over the edge, I guess. And then we'll just go in with our next one. So you can measure like 1/4 inch between these, or you can just do it by eye, which is what I tend to do all the time. Just pop some glue on. Make sure that's in the centre. Along there. Like that. And you can see you're getting even borders either end, and you've got your score line in the centre. Just shove that one, push that one up a little bit more. Do a layer of glue along here. If you're using stripy paper, you don't have to do any of this. You have to get some stripy paper in, aren't we? Or you could make your own. What am I doing? It's too early. Rolled out of bed and did this because I did it yesterday, but I lost light in my craft room for filming. So it makes a difference. So we've got our 2 layers on, and then we'll go put some glue on the last one. As you can see, I'm not doing it how I normally would, all nice and neat, and smearing it down so it just goes completely to the edges. And we'll just put that one. Now you can see we're going to have our 1/4 inch cake topping coming over that. So we'll move it up a little bit. And you can also add some more on there if it doesn't quite go all the way. So we need to let that dry before we fold it, because if you fold it now, things are going to move. So just put that to one side, and we'll come back to our cake. Put my lid on my glue. So all you need to do now is cut along here. Now you can do this curvy, or you can do it straight lines on my template. Now you've got the template for knowing where it needs to be, but obviously if you wanted to, there's nothing stopping you, and we will do it because I haven't done it. It's just wiggle along that line like that. Just get to the point there. We do the same on this side. I'm going to go this way because it's easier to do. And just wiggle that. And because I've done it on that side, we won't be using this side because you can see the lines. Now I can rub them out. I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep them like that. So I've got a little bit of a wiggle on there. That's just a shadow you're seeing. And then we'll be using this way. So these sections are now going to fold over like that. So they're going to come over, and the middle one folds up as well. So it all folds like this. Just reinforcing those score lines there. Now the only thing you need to do with this, because you're not using the template, is measure. So you can either put it on, I don't want to fold this yet, but once it's folded you can measure where the point's going to go. So make sure the point's going to go there, and then you would cut straight. The other thing you can do is, we know that's 4 inches long, so let's do it on the wrong side. So using the straight, make sure you're using the straight side, so not this curvy side, because you won't be able to see. But where 4 inches is, because that's the size of the cake, you've got your point to 4 inches. What you're going to do is just draw a line straight down. Don't worry about this angle. That's angle. This is going to be straight. Again on this side, measure the 4. Oh, this ruler's annoying because it's inches and centimetres. So I need it to be one end, not both. So where 4 inches is, just come down 90-degree angle to that. So then what you're going to do is cut those to there and to there, and cut them off on the score. So those little pieces are being removed. And the only thing you have to do now is fold it back in half. You can see it's a bit off this point. I'm going to try and get this point in a little bit better. You want it to be evil. Evil? Even. I don't want an evil cake, thanks. What am I doing? There. What's that with me today? So it's a bit better now. And then what you're going to do is fold it in half. So you know from this point to there, you're going to be making a curve. Now if you want to draw a curve on there, so you could draw the whole thing. You're going to go right to this point here. We want the cake to be right at that edge there. Because what it does, I'll explain. When you open the cake, you see the topping. But on the back, you've got that section going in. So if this was too short, you'd see this little piece in here being folded, etc. So you want to make sure you use the full length of the card. So you just draw a curve, and you can do like sketchy. Do it sketchy is always best. And then whatever side you like the look of best, use that one. That's not bad all rounder, is it? Did pretty well there. So I think I'll go this way. Fold it in half, and then you can do 2 in 1, you see. And then you can just change it if you're not happy. That's a bit too pointy. You just snip that little bit off like that. So that's the cake topping, and let's bring in the template, and you'll see that this is what we've just made. Pretty similar, really. So we did that just by using our skills. But if you're using a template, then it's obviously going to be exactly right. So just remove these little bits so don't get confused. And now we're going to do the candle. I think I need to zoom in to do the candle, really, because it's very, very tiny. So just bear with me while I zoom in. Well, I'll be gone quickly. Oh, Sarah, what giant hands you have. So this is what we scored earlier. Remember, we had our 3/4 of an inch, scored it halfway, and then 3/8 at the bottom. So we're just going to fold that up, and we're going to fold it in the centre in half. It doesn't get glued together. It's an open sort of candle top, if you like. So the only thing you need to do with this one is you're going to be cutting from that point to the centre. You're just going to cut like that, and then like that. Make sure it comes off. And these are very important. They're what holds your glue on the right side, and they're what holds the candle to the cake top. Then we need to make our candle. Now it's not a symmetrical thing, so you can just draw and sketch, and you can do it on the reverse if you want. We probably should, shouldn't we? Just draw like a flame coming in, and then like your candle shape that you want. So that's what we're going to do there. So I'm just going to cut one side. Make sure I like it. Not really much I can do about it apart from getting a little bit of paper. Don't worry about it. Do that. And then I can turn it over and go in there. I hope you saw me. I just realised I'm really zoomed in, and I've only just sort of realised that I may have been doing that off camera. I hope not. Sorry if I did, but I'll show you in a minute when we open it up. And just cutting and copying. I'm going to open it up and make it good. I'm just copying what I did on the other side by folding it in half. It's a bit difficult to get into because this is card. So I'm going to open it up and then tidy it up. So I'm going to go in here, take those little bits off with my little teeny scissors. So you can see there, you have got a candle shape. Now, like I say, bring in the template. So if you're using the template, let's see how close we were. It's a bit shorter, but it's fine. So that's that. That's what we did there. And then what I'm going to do is just colour my candle. So we're just going to get some light yellow. Now I'm using alcohol markers, but you can use inks or nothing if you don't want. You might be using yellow paper. You could put stripes on here. You can use different pattern papers, things like that. Been better if I wasn't on white, I guess, but you'll see it in a minute because it's all going the same colour. And then I'll just do it a little bit darker colour each time and shorter colouring, if you know what I mean. I talk about my own language today. This is the Sarah way. And then we just get the next pen and blend that in, because these are alcohol, like that. So that'd be fine. Move this out of the way so you can see better. So we've just coloured in our candle. I'm going to zoom back out because it's just getting silly now. So now we've got all our pieces. All we need to do is put them together and pop them in the card. So first of all, I'm going to reinforce this now. And it's, like I say, it was very thick card. I want to make sure that these are level, top and bottom. And then reinforce that edge. Like that. Just going to reinforce that. And then this one goes around the back, fold around the back, and it folds in, comes back up, fold that over. So you've got that little section doing that on the end, and then what you can do is just put tape on there and close it. So because you've done the folding accurately, like top and bottom, it will fit in the right place. So I just need to grab my tape, which I did bring in, and I really don't know what I've done with it. Oh my goodness, what a day. Bear with. Right. Then we're just going to pop a bit of tape on that end tab. So I'll put that in there and you can see it's just that tab. So fold it over. I'm going to take this one off and put another bit on because it's only narrow tape underneath there. If they're only overhanging bits, just fold them in. Don't want them catching on the card base or anything like that. Pop them in like that. Take that away. So you've got this. This is the back. So you're coming in and down. And then you're just going to close it, making sure that the bottom lines are all flat. Like that. So that's your cake made. That's the actual cake bit that goes in the card is made. And then you can either put tape on these bottom sections or you can use glue. I tend to use glue. I know the card base, because I've put a lining in it, doesn't always stick that well, so we might have to just wait a minute for it to take, but I like to use wet glue because it's a permanent thing. So where we did this fancy, which side's got the drawing on it? Fancy now, look. There. So we need it to be up that way. And these coming in. And these get glued over the top. So make sure that the point is at the pointy end like that. So you're gluing point to point. And we can make sure it's not too close to the cake, because we want to fold it in half, because that's how it's going to sit. So we can do folding in half and then glue it to suit the cake slice underneath. Now we don't want to have a white gap, so as long as it's covering both sides, we'll be good to go. You see what I'm doing? So the point has to come down a bit. You do have a little bit of a white area there. You can't help that, it's just the angle. So you can see we've got that larger piece up here, which is going to cover up that mechanism, like I said. That's working really well. So all we need to do is pop some glue on there. And these two bits. You have got a fold line on there and it will fold flat. So you do need to have that fold line on top of the cake, which I'll show you in a second. So smear this down. And just glue that. Make sure it's the point's at the point. Come on. Like that. You can have a look and make sure it's overhanging and it's folding against the cake flat, so it folds flat, which it is, which is good. Just need to have a bit of patience with the glue. Then we can put some glue on this side. So fold the cake in half and that should line up to where it should be. You can see when you open it now, squash these down, make sure they're dry, Sarah. See, it's overhanging that section because it goes in otherwise you don't have enough room on the card for the cake to fit in. So it does that, squashes in that way. And then we just need to get the candle on, which I don't do until the cake is in the card, and there's a reason why, which I'll show you in a minute. So card blank, 7 by 5 inch card is what it fits in. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I've just lined it with paper and made sure it's dry before I fold it in half, just like we did with the cake slices. They're brown cake pieces. So what we're going to do now is you decide where roughly, make sure that's pushed in, and decide, these come down, they don't have to go in because they'll automatically happen. So that's quite good, you don't have to do that. So you just decide where on the card, if you want the cake to be at the top, down the bottom, where you want it to be. So what we're going to do is have ours nearer the top. Now you get the point to there, and then you just take a ruler. You can do a mark, but you'll have to rub it out. So I just like to lay my ruler on the centre there. And where this point is here, so not the fold, not the 1/4 of an inch, but the base of the cake, you swing it to be sitting at 1 1/4, okay? And then that bottom piece near the crease, okay? Not on the crease, because the card won't be able to fold. So you could hold that in place and make sure the card's shut, which it does. Excuse me. And then just put glue along this white section, just a 1/4 of an inch piece along there. Smear it down, because it does dry quicker when you smear it as well. And this is what's holding the cake in the card. So you really want to make sure that that is stuck. Now don't decorate the front of your card until you've done this, because you'll see is you'll get lines from any extras you've put on the cake, and you don't want to ruin what you've done on the front. So I always leave the card blank and then I decorate it at the end. So we can see that's worked. Flip it over to the other side. So it's really easy to set in once you've got that 1 1/4 inch. And the reason it's 1 1/4 inch is because that's the width of halfway of the back of the cake. So it will ensure that the cake opens fully when the card's open. And that's what it's all about. Just rub that down again. I have to really wait for this to dry. Hopefully it is. And you can see, nah, not dry. Yeah, it's going to happen. I'll just pause it for a minute and let it dry, I think. I didn't think that was ever going to dry. That took for ages. I said it would, didn't I? It's because it's shiny paper. So now it's in. I don't know if you can see the bottom. Yeah, you can just about. The tabs there are what's holding it in the card. So you've got to really make sure that they're glued down strongly and well. And give it a little force there. If it's slightly open, you can pop something inside and give it a little rub down. Just make sure it's in there, because that is what's holding your cake in the card. Now I'll show you where to put the candle that we've cut out. So it's really important that you don't put the candle in until the end, because if you made your cake a little bit larger or the card's a little bit smaller, these need to come up and in. So they're going to join like a square there. Okay, so what that means is when it goes on the cake like this, they are going to be square at the back. Okay, so they're going to be sitting on there. Don't know if you can see that, like so. I'll angle it backwards, but they'll be joined in the middle. Now the reason I'll leave it to the end is if you close the card and peep like that, you can see, because bear in mind these are going to come up. One's going to go one side. I know you can't see this very well, but what I'm doing is, say this is the cake, it's angled in the card like this, so that's the card, cake's angled, and then what I'm doing is I'm resting this up against the edge of that cake, because it's going to get folded like that, so it sits at an angle. Now what you'll see is if it's sitting too far, so the cake's there in my card, if it's sitting too far up there, it's going to overhang the edge of the card. So you need to make sure it's somewhere on the cake where it doesn't come out of the card. It can be really close to it, but just not coming out of it. But you've got to remember that angle, so you need to have that little piece there. So it's best to do the first one here, put some glue on this little triangle. Just smear that down. And then this, we need to know where it's going to go. We don't want it popping out of the card. So we can see. I don't think you can see at all what I'm doing because of the shadows. But I'm just making sure I did exactly what I showed you on the top. It's not poking out the outside of the card. So that's fine. And then I'll bend this back. It might ruin the card a bit. So that's fine like that. And then I can put glue on this tab here. This little tab here. Smear that down. And then fold the candle in half. Like that. I'll show you at an angle when it's in there. So what I've done is while it was flat, just make sure that the candle's not poking out the card edge. And then it's literally just over, if I keep it closed, it's just been put on over like that. So the back's like that, those two little tabs are at the back. So when you open it, the candle pops up like so. Okay, so hopefully you could see what I was doing there. Enough. And that's how it all goes in. Now that's it, guys. So I'm going to show you how to make the template, the serviette next. So if you don't want to see that, thanks for watching, and I'll be back again real soon because I'll design something else yesterday. So don't forget to download the template from Ko-fi, and I'll show you how to do that serviette right now. So if you've got a card or anything like that you want it specifically to be the size of, say there's a credit card going in there, make sure you've got enough room, lay it on your paper, double the size, okay, because if you think you're working on one piece with an overhang. So let's just put 1/2 inch score. I'll tell you, this is 5.5, and now it's 5.5 by 4 1/4. But you don't have to do that size, that's what I'm trying to get at. So when you fold this in half, if you ignore that tab, like this, then what you're going to do is fold it in half. This comes over here, and you can glue that around the back like that. But what you need to do, sorry, on the inside it goes, what you need to do is fold down to the centre a triangle on that side. So you need to know the size you want this piece to be, okay? So actually I've done that wrong, haven't I? What am I doing wrong? This is a really good tutorial. I fold it, that's got to go around there, so I need to fold that. That's the wrong side, guys, wrong side. So side with the tab, you fold down. It's really one of those days. So we've got the tab there, so you've got the extra piece. Of course it would be, because it needs to go around there. So you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have that line going through there. Ignore that. So you have your tab on the left hand side. You fold from the point, top point, down the centre like that. Fold it over, and then put a bit of tape on the back of there. Bet you're glad you stayed tuned for this one. I did just make it up yesterday, so I couldn't remember how I did it. And then roll that around the back like that. So there you've got your pocket. So just put tape on the back and pop that into your card like so, and then put your gift card etc inside. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. And you can put, the other thing is you can put a bit of tape along the bottom there if you want, because you don't want something to fall out, so you can do that as well, or just a little bit of glue in there and then just seal it shut so it doesn't go all the way through, if that bothers you. I just decorated mine with ribbon. If you're going to put anything around it that needs to go on the back, do that before you put it in the card, okay? So that's how we did that. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.